What's going on, guys? I got a pretty interesting video for today. I was going through my old computer. I haven't used it in a while, and I happened to stumble upon a video I made a bunch of years ago about my trip from Washington, D.C. back to Pittsburgh on a bike. Started watching it and thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little video, watching it again, reacting, and talking about what I packed and what I would do differently if I was going to do it again. So let's get into this. Should be a good one. Hello, interweb. My name is Brendan. We ride in the Great Allegheny Passage in the C&O towpath from Washington, D.C. Next Monday. First off, I got a little more facial hair, a little more hair on the top of my head too. Trying to keep it. So we'll actually be leaving to ride back on Monday. We leave for D.C. on Sunday. But I've been getting a lot of questions about the ride. And I also wanted to document the trip because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I thought I'd start off with what I'm taking with me. So I'm probably going to call this little video blog from the bars, and I'll explain that in a moment. The vast majority of what I'm taking with me for the ride. That's my Cannondale CAD-X 105 Disc 5, meaning I have the disc brakes on it. It's a good bike. And I'm calling it from the bars because my phone will be mounted right here the majority of the time. And I'm planning clever, right? From the bars, just telling you what's going on with each day. I guess I'll get into the equipment now. This is the Sigma Rocks 6.0 CAD, so it'll give me cadence, distance, altitude, heart rate. The heart rate monitor is right there actually, so I always know sort of what my zone is and how much energy I'm expending. Also have a light for any night riding, a couple of water bottles. I guess we'll start over here with, this is mostly my clothing. This is going to be packed up in 2 Novara pannier bags. Have a pair of sandals for wearing around the camping site. These are my Specialized, that's the name of the company, shoes that fit on my Egg Beater 2 from Crank Brother pedals, and then these, where are we? There we are. The little covers for the shoes, as you see here. If it rains, it keeps my feet dry. The top mesh leaves your feet pretty well exposed, so it's really uncomfortable. But it keeps the bottom open, so the clips will still fit in. Just a pair of compression shorts for wearing around camp. 3 pairs of bike shorts. You can see they have the extra padding in them. These are arm covers for easy removal if it's cold out or really sunny. Actually, I wear them to keep the sun off so I don't get burned. I have 3 short sleeve jerseys, 1 long sleeve jersey going with. They have these really convenient pockets in the back for extra water bottles and trail food. Also, we have the Pearl Izumi gloves. They have padding in the hands. I have actually tucked in here. These are rain pants. Rain jacket. Yeah, I was just wearing that jacket earlier today while it was raining out here. So that'll be good. Hopefully we don't need to use them, but Preparation is everything. Got a few bandanas. I always ride with bandanas on my head.
I used to not wear helmets. That's pretty stupid.
The rest of my clothes is in here already packed
Wear
up,
helmets.
tight, zipped. It's compression bag, so it makes everything much smaller. Still weighs quite a bit though, for being clothes. We got a lock, of course. This is going to be my best friend, the chamois glide to stop the saddle sores, just so it's not too uncomfortable riding 350 something miles back from Washington D.C. Some toilet paper. I believe it's all super biodegradable for camping purposes. First aid kit. I hope I don't need to use this, but I have it in case I do. Some zip ties, just for whatever. Actually, I have my fenders attached with zip ties because the geometry of the bike didn't allow for proper installation of the
They came in handy.
fenders. So for some of the more stuff for at camp, I have the REI quarter dome single person tent. You can see right there what it kind of looks like. Super easy to set up, and it only weighs 2.2 pounds, which is awesome because everything I'm taking with me has to fit on my bike. We got a little chair too to set up, a collapsible chair for around the camp.
I wouldn't pack that again if I did it again.
Something to sit on that's not a log. After riding
Didn't really use it.
hours in a day, I'm gonna probably want something comfortable to sit on. Let's see, back here is actually a really small pillow that inflates for a little bit of comfort.
There was no comfort.
A hammock, just in case. I'm actually looking really forward to using this.
I wouldn't take that either.
To hold it to the tree or posts. This is to keep the mosquitoes out, and that's a rain fly in case it's raining at night. I'm really hoping not to have to wear this camel pack, because it does get heavy on your back and shoulders, and I would rather not if I don't have to. But I have spare tubes in each of the pockets right now. There's the pack itself, and I have this portable tire and pump. I generally just stick that down in there and take it with me along. Also, some of the fun stuff. This is a fire starter with some easy fire starting balls. I'm looking forward to the camp part of this trip, probably almost as much as the riding portion. Got some bathing wipes and actually a sort of like a ShamWow super absorbent towel for if I get a chance to jump in the Potomac River or whatnot at the end of the day. So this wash is for actually for camp equipment or yourself, and it has citronella in it, so that'll help also keep the bugs off. Got some black parachute cord.
I don't know if that's actually for parachutes. Probably not.
You should always take cord with you. You'll never know when it's going to be necessary. I wasn't thinking I was going to need to take this Bayer aspirin, but the guys I'm riding with, Max and Nick, both have done the trip before, and they suggested heavily that I make sure I have something. That's my vitamin pack. I have daily and nighttime vitamin mix, some CLAs, some fish oil.
Waste of space.
I'm trying not to get too out of the routine that I'm in right now. We got a multi-purpose, it's sort of like a Swiss Army knife of bike tool. A lot of Allen keys, screwdrivers. Gotta have that just in case. I hope I don't need to use them, but these are for separating the tires from the rims so you can get to the tubes. If you see there that green cap on the tube. I do have slime tubes in there, so they're supposed to self-seal if I do get a flat. Hopefully, I don't want to test it out, but I hope it works. I've been told it does. For camp, I have a collapsible cup.
I think we just drank out of our water bottles the whole time.
Silverware with a clip to keep it all together, and a little plate just so I can eat out of something that's not the bag. And they, as you see, clip down real small, super lightweight. I think I already covered the heart rate monitor. I do have a solar panel for charging, making sure I have a charge.
Good idea, but it didn't work the way I'd hoped.
USB. This also was.
You'll see the trail's mostly covered in trees.
But
we didn't get much sun on that all day.
In the sun, this will actually hold the charge. Otherwise, I would have to have it exposed to the sun while it was trying to charge. So this will allow me to charge something at night if I need to. Gotta have a knife. I'm not going to open it one-handed while looking at a phone because I'll probably cut myself. But I'm taking that with me also. Some MRE style bags. Some of these are just add water and they heat up in the bag. Max and Nick are both bringing camp stoves along, so the stuff that needs hot water poured into it I can get from that. A little spinach puttanesca. I'm trying to stay away from the carbs, but I do think that some amount of carbs at the end of the day are going to be useful in at least recovering and helping me get on to the next day. Homestyle beef and gravy with some potatoes. I am still a Mick at heart, so I do love beef and gravy. And
you saw the Ireland jersey earlier.
Honey lime chicken, huevos rancheros. Honestly, I just thought that would be kind of interesting. I wasn't. Otherwise, I think we're planning on eating most of our breakfast in restaurants. But this is here just in case. I want to eat that instead of something else.
Most of our meals were actually eaten in restaurants. I would pack half that. More snacks, more rideable snacks rather than actual meals.
Breakfast, but I got some lentils, rice, and Indian spice. I've been on a bit of a high-fat, super low-carb diet lately. I don't want to get too far from that if I don't have to. So I'm going to take some liquid coconut oil and some coconut oil chews. Also some sardines in olive oil for protein and fat to make sure I can continue on with my rides. I have some beef jerky for snacking along the way, along the ride. We're not going to stop for lunch. We're just going to keep riding through. So it's kind of up to me to have food to eat while riding, portable stuff. And also in my Novara back bag, you can see a copious amount of Justin's almond butter. That's a favorite in-ride snack for myself. Also taking some Scratch Labs with
Love Scratch Labs.
And, new matcha with lemons and caffeine in it, natural caffeine. Those are both hydration mixes, and they're no artificial flavoring or coloring. Super good for you. Way better than Gatorade. So that's going to be in my water bottles. Scratch Labs. Going along for the ride also. These are also coming with me. It's my homemade carb/protein energy bar. It's chocolate flavored, peanut butter, oatmeal, other grains, chia seeds. I think there might even be some dried fruit in there. So that's the majority of what I'm taking. I'll get it all packed up and show you what that looks like. And then it's about waiting. I can't wait for next week. Should be a good time. So there it is. Everything but the shoes. Surprisingly able to get all of that onto here. I gotta sit that down for a second. So there it is. You're looking at me now from the bars, ready to roll. 1 week. Nature. I thought we had a deal. No rain.
Was up at your house?
I know, because they're scanning. They're scanning pictures, and they can do facial recognition. Well, they'll do some
Max
sort of,
and Nick.
Rented a van, drove it down to DC, left it there, rode back.
And here's what we're going to do. Why don't we take
3 bikes and a bunch of gear. Not much else room.
Look at that iMovie technique.
The last of the 4 wheels. Now we just have 2. Check it out, the Capitol building from the bars. Sweet. The POTUS. Washington Monument. Washington Monument selfie. Presidential selfie from the bars. Typical tourist selfie. Last dinner that's not trail food.
So we were going all over the city trying to find something cheap and that we could all agree on. We ended up finding a Whole Foods. I think all 3 of us ended up getting rotisserie chickens. I think I was the only one that ate the whole thing.
ready for the ride.
Monday morning, August 18th. All the gear ready to go. Planned Washington, D.C. to Harper's Ferry, about 70 miles. And we'll see how that goes. So this is it. We're finally on our way. Oh, just hit something because I wasn't paying attention. I don't know who put that rock there, but it didn't belong there. Finally on our way out from DC, going under some bridge. Not sure which one. But so far so good. Better now that we're in the open. It's kind of squirrely with all this gear on the back. In town, trying to stop at stop signs and get started again. But now that we're moving, it's feeling fine. So we're on a pretty cool section of the trail right now. It's on my right is the canal, and covering me on both sides. Trees and the canopy you can see above. Absolutely awesome to look at. Really enjoying being outside. Max up front. Canal. You can't see it right now, but the Potomac is on our left. Lock number 7 along the canal. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of spots along the trail that were like this, where you would never have seen it if you weren't cycling on this trail. They kind of tucked back on hidden. Really cool.
This is absolutely incredible. The Great Falls overlook.
And the video just doesn't do this justice, by the way. It was so loud.
Amazing.
The scale of it was pretty awesome too.
I just got rid of its spots.
It's a little deer.
This was me trying to be funny with some cut clips, trying to show the passage of time.
Okay. And then not in the rain. Wow.
Do it again.
My name's Max McIntosh. I'm doing the Pittsburgh, DC to Pittsburgh GAP Trail, C&O Trail, and I nominate Nick Santillo for the Ice Challenge.
Nick, I think you have to do it.
Oh, it feels so good.
Nick's like, all right, I'll jump in. Oh wait, it's full.
It was really hot that day.
Laying there.
So we're about 65 miles in, day one, in the area of Harper's Ferry, Maryland, I believe. The campsite should be just up ahead somewhere. So the stats for today, 65.31 miles, 5 hours, 22 minutes of riding. 431 feet of climbing, 14.6 mile an hour speed, max, average 9.84.
So we intentionally rode
6 hours,
around
38
10 miles
minutes
an
of
hour just to keep our legs fresh for the whole trip.
So we got a fire going, and a bunch of people we don't know that showed up at our campsite, but we don't know Mother Nature. So I got my hammock set
I
up.
think this was the only night I used the hammock,
Got the bug
by
net
the way.
underneath. My tires reflecting in the back. Rain fly just in case. There's like a 30% chance of rain tonight. And under here, and the rest of the hammock is in there. Good morning, video land. Day 2. It's probably somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. We just left camp. I'd tell you how many miles we've gone right now. It's probably less than 1. We literally just started, but my computer is on the fritz, so it's not quite giving me a readout. And so today we're planning Harper's Ferry to Hancock, Maryland, and about another 65, 70 miles. And see you along the way. It's been like a never-ending tunnel of trees.
It was nice. It kept it shady for what it's worth. Helped keep the heat down.
Little buddy's going for a swim. There's nobody here to give me a damn tour.
National Lampoon's reference.
So we jumped off the C&O towpath temporarily. We're on the Western Maryland Rail Trail. It's beautiful, it's paved. That's mostly why it's beautiful.
Amen
I
to
sort of
that.
can't believe that the leaves are changing colors already. And it's that late in the year. It feels like the summer just flew. So it's actually the beginning of the 3rd day, but this is the 2nd day stats. Good morning. It's August 20th, day 3. We're going from Hancock, Maryland to Cumberland, Maryland. We got a slight incline for us today, but I guess tomorrow is going to be the Continental Divide ride. Pretty cool view right now. Got some sheer rock walls on our right. There's a fence and then a big drop off down to maybe a river or something down below. Can't quite tell through all the thick trees. We got our canopy overhead for the moment. It certainly looks different than the rest of the trail so far. We're actually on the Maryland Rails to Trails path rather than the C&O for the moment. It's paved, so it's been some really nice riding. Got some good sleep last night, unlike the first night. And really solid dinner last night. Some chicken livers, big burger, Brussels sprouts. We had 6 eggs for breakfast, a bowl of fruit, some toast, and bacon. Of course, gotta have my bacon.
Yeah, so that restaurant had like opened a couple days before we were there.
A lot better, more energized today than we did yesterday. And this should be a good ride. We might get some rain later. But for now, we're gonna hope that it stays north of us in Pittsburgh, and that would be that'd be lovely. Bridge.
Also, there's a bike shop in Hancock with a camping area out back. It's all fenced in with like a shower kind of thing. Real crude, but still.
That's a canal.
Bunks that you can lay a sleeping bag on. Really cool idea, especially for where they are. I'd recommend it if you're gonna do this trip. Try and find that bike shop in Hancock.
The view from the top of the Paw Paw Tunnel. Max down there, some other tourists. We'll call them tourists. Awesome. I know you guys can't feel it with the video, but it's like a natural air conditioner just blowing cold air down at us right now. It feels so good. Just climbed up a probably, what do you say, Nick, 10-mile climb? At least a 10-mile climb. Somewhere between 3 and 6%, we're thinking. So it was a good little ride. So this feels really good.
The transitions again on point, right?
About 45, 50 miles into our ride, I'd say. 45 probably is a closer assumption. Between Hancock and Cumberland. We went through the Paw Paw Tunnel, as you saw those videos, but coming out I had a little mechanical difficulty again. The other side of my toe peak rack fell down, which pushed my fender once again into my back tire.
Yeah, so that happened twice. Those twist ties, or those zip ties, yeah, that's where they came in handy.
Nothing too major. That was before the tunnel. Oh, and we also saw 2 black bears, a mother and a cub. We never got more than 200 feet to it, and then it ran off into the woods. Thankfully, it was a little more scared of us than I was of it. You don't really want to mess with a mama bear, do you? I'm going to keep riding and show you guys off. This has been a never-ending hill climb. Rolling into Cumberland. About 180 miles. A little over that, actually, according to the trail. I think it's like $1.82, 85, somewhere in there. This will conclude the Chesapeake and Ohio towpath. Tomorrow it's up over those mountains. We start the Great Allegheny Passage. Here's yesterday's stats.
So we actually stayed at a YMCA. I didn't know that that was a real thing when I heard it in the song. But in fact, you can stay at the YMCA. They $10, and we were allowed to use their facility, shower. That was a great comfort to add in. And then we set up our camp across the street underneath a little, I don't know, picnic kind of area.
It's going to be a killer. My battery's running low. Couldn't get it to charge last night off the battery pack from the solar panel. so I'm probably going to shut off for most of the ride. But I'm definitely going to try and get some pictures from the top. This scenery, all fog coming over the mountain.
Yeah, humbling.
This video really doesn't do this justice. Absolutely amazing.
Kind of makes you realize you're such a
This is
small
gonna be a good
piece in
day.
such a
Even though
large
it's
picture.
really hot out right now. Mason-Dixon line. Back to Pennsylvania. Savage Tunnel. Man. So I've crushed the first 22 miles of the hill. 2 of those miles are around Cumberland. But this is up through the Big Savage Tunnel. 2 hours and 22 minutes. That's including those other 2 miles. (1,102 feet). 1,761 feet actual climb.
So technically speaking, it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I know why there's windmills up there now. Bridge. It is the morning of the final day of riding, but this is yesterday's stats from Cumberland to Confluence. 68.7 miles.
There was a
6 hours,
campground
7
there that we
minutes.
stayed at too. Again, got a
Got one more
chance
day.
to shower and set up our tents.
Should be a ball buster.
It's actually a bigger like
About
RV
80 to
camping
100 miles.
place,
about to
but
die,
they
so
allowed us
you're
to
not
set
gonna
up
get
for
to
a
see
pretty
me at
cheap
all.
price too, so that was
Ohio,
pretty cool.
Ohio State Park. We're about 10 miles from where we started in Confluence. There's a train coming here, so I'm gonna turn this off. Pedal Pittsburgh, just made it home.
Yeah, had no clue that was going on. It was a pretty cool welcome home. But the technical end of that trail is at the point in downtown Pittsburgh. So we made sure to go all the way to that point.
So I literally just got home. And that was our ride today from Confluence to Max's house in Coriopolis. Got my first entry.
That's pretty clever too, huh? So yeah, that was actually the end of one journey and the start of another. A couple weeks before that trip, one of my best friends did his first triathlon, and I said, if you ever do that again, I'll join you. And that was the start of my triathlon adventures, and from there it was let's say like 4 years, I guess. Now I'm an Ironman, so you know, I kind of the cycling bug bit me first, and then you know, I kept doing the triathlons just to keep and stay fit. But yeah, that was awesome. Really cool to find this video again. Obviously some pretty crude filming, some pretty crude editing. I see what I would have done differently as far as the trip itself if I was to do it again. If I do it again, I want to go Pittsburgh to DC, just to say that I went both ways. There was a discussion I remember specifically between the three of us talking about, since they had already done Pittsburgh to DC first, the discussion was, is it easier to do Pittsburgh to DC or DC to Pittsburgh? DC to Pittsburgh, you have one hard day of climbing up to the Continental Divide, but it's otherwise pretty flat. Whereas with the Pittsburgh to DC version, Pittsburgh to the Divide is like a false flat most of the way, so you're still climbing a good bit of that, and you kind of just don't even notice it. But they had that conversation, and I kind of wouldn't mind checking it out and seeing how it goes the other way also. So if you're planning on doing this trip, take what you can from that. I hope I added a few extra little hints and tips to your ride, or if you just wanted to watch it with me for shits and giggles. I appreciate you joining for this one, little trip down memory lane. So my wife's not here right now to give you the dope, so I'll give it to you, the peace out and the dope. Check over here for one of my older videos. Make sure you're down here, you're liking and subscribing. I think that's the right corner. I haven't really figured this out yet on the editing portion of it, but it'll be on the screen. Like, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching, guys.